Hey everyone, Anthony Scott here at ToyHypeUSA.com. Today I am taking a look at Mattel's upcoming Masters of the Universe and Transformers crossover figures, which pay homage to the 1980s franchises. Special shout out and thank you to Mattel for sending these figures along for review. It's greatly appreciated. In the US, these are available on Mattel Creations as well as Target stores and priced at $32.99 each. This wave includes two figures, including Megatron Armor Skeletor, which is a crossover between Megatron and Skeletor, and Bumblebee Armor Man-at-Arms, which is a crossover between Bumblebee and Man-at-Arms. The figures come on window boxes here, and the artwork is just fantastic. They really went all out as far as these. These are deluxe size figures, so the price point would be a bit more compared to the usual around $20 Masters of the Universe Origins figures. You're getting some interchangeable parts and accessories that I'm going to show you guys in this review. The package is mostly Transformers themed with a little bit of Masters of the Universe, such as Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain right here on the side. You have the logos of each iconic franchise. You have images of the characters right on the upper right-hand side there. On the upper left-hand side, you have 6+, indicating that these are for ages 6 and up. On the bottom, you have the name of the figures. You have the Mattel logo. On Man-at-Arms, you have the Autobot logo. And for Skeletor, you have the Decepticon logo. On the side here, you have images of the Transformers, Megatron and Bumblebee. And on the other side, you have images of Skeletor and Man-at-Arms. On the back, you have some more great artwork showcasing the characters, a description right on top, and a look at their accessories that are included, as well as the features. Here is a closer look at the description. That's Man-at-Arms, and here is Skeletor. So I am going to open these up now, and let's take a closer look. On the inside flap of both sides of both of these packaging are the stats for each character. This one here is Bumblebee Armor Man-at-Arms, and you see a brief description and the stats for him. This pays tribute to Transformers Generation 1 of the 1980s toy line. Here is a look at Megatron Armor Skeletor. Here is a look at both of the figures inside their plastic trays, as well as a better look at all of their accessories. As with all other Origin-style figures, they come with a sheet of instructions showing which parts are interchangeable and compatible with other figures. Both figures also come with the same mini-comic, and it's called By the Energon of Grayskull. On the cover, you have a look at both characters offered in this wave, and they already announced a second wave that are featured in this mini-comic as well. On the back of this, you have the Masters of the Universe and Transformers logo, and it's the same on the other one. You'll also notice that there is a little bit of a difference between the mini-comics on the bottom. This has a symbol and some text, while this one does not. If you don't want to be spoiled with the mini-comic, do fast forward and close your eyes, because this is a major spoiler, as these figures aren't supposed to be due out until October. So here is a look at the mini-comic. And He-Man Optimus Prime is part of the second wave. And this is Scareglow Starscream, which is a pretty cool combination. So there's your look at the mini-comic. On the bottom, it says to be continued. So there will probably be a new mini-comic with the second wave. And there's a look at the back again. Here is a closer look at Man-at-Arms with the Bumblebee armor. The armor primarily covers his chest, and you have the Autobot logo right there on the front in red and light gray. The Bumblebee armor is metallic yellow, and that covers the wrists, the left shoulder, the left upper boot, as well as part of the right one as well. It also covers most of the head sculpt, and he has the horns right on both sides, and Man-at-Arms keeps his little design right there on the front of the armor there, which looks really cool. The other primary color is a dark green. The sculpt is also all new, as you don't really get this sculpted pattern right on a He-Man sculpt, so that is how you know it's new. Here is a look at all sides. The boots are also a light brown and metallic yellow, and you have the light brown right there on the crotch area as well. Here's a look at all the sides here. On the back, there is no room for storage on the weapons, and that is not the case with Megatron Armor Skeletor, and I'm going to show you guys what I mean in that review. But I am a little disappointed that there's no clip or anything on the back. You can store the mace or anything. So that is my only real issue with the figure. Other than that, he looks really cool. This is definitely an interesting combo. Other than the Autobot logo and Man-at-Arms design on the top of the chest, you have Bumblebee's windshield, which is kind of like a grayish blue, which is pretty neat. Here is a closer look at that. So there's your look there. In these grooves here, these are like a dark gray. I don't think that's black. And the silver blue color is part of the windshield, as I said. The back doesn't have that, but it has this design there. Head sculpt looks really good. You have the Man-at-Arms likeness with the mustache, and as I said, you have the horns that go with Bumblebee. The helmet is primarily metallic yellow, but he has the bluish gray, which you see better in the back, going all the way around. Included is a mask that you basically just placed right over the face. It is metallic silver and metallic yellow, and it stays on pretty good, so you don't have to worry about it falling off. It is a small piece, so just be aware of that, but it won't fall off easily, so that's really good. The articulation for Bumblebee armor Man-at-Arms is standard for the Origins line, which includes a ball-jointed head sculpt, really good range of motion, swivel hinge shoulders, swivel hinge elbows, swivel hinge wrists, swivel waist, ball jointed hips, swivel hinge knees, good range of motion on there, and hinged and rocker ankles. He also has swivel calves, good range of motion there as well. Man-at-Arms also comes with a signature mace, which is also brand new in the Bumblebee armor colors, which includes mostly metallic yellow. There is the blue-gray deco, as well as some blue right there on the inside of the top there, and dark gray, which you see around here where my finger's pointing. The mace can fit in either hand and stays in pretty well. Here is a pose, this time with the mask back on. Man-at-Arms also includes a sword. I think this is some kind of Energon sword. If you look at it very closely, and I'm going to show you guys that right now, it definitely has some kind of crystal design to it, so that's why I think this is an Energon sword. It fits on his hand very well. It won't fall off too easily, and it has a pretty neat design. Here is another pose, this time with the mask. The sword and the mace can combine, and here is a look at that, as well as a look at the shield. The shield has the Autobot logo, but smaller compared to the chest. Here is another pose. The mace and sword, when combined, can't be held with both hands. It doesn't work that way, so he can only hold one handle at a time. And on this pose here, you see the back end of the shield. On the back of the shield, there is a clip, so you can put the sword on, and here's a look at that. Here is also a look at the tiny blaster, that's also included. Here is another pose. You'll notice that on here, as I said, the sword fits into the clip right on the back of the shield, and here's a closer look at that. You see the clip right in there. The sword snaps right in, and you can place it right back on his hands as well as his forearm there. So here is your look at that. Here is a comparison with the Cartoon Collection Man-at-Arms figure. Here is a look at the back of the figures. Here is an in-hand look at Megatron armor Skeletor. You can clearly see where the Megatron armor pays homage into this figure. It's featured mostly on the front part of his chest, but interestingly enough, they didn't bother painting it metallic silver on the sides. They just left it blue, so I find that a little bit disappointing. I don't know why they did that, but that's basically how they did it. The armor is also featured on his shoulders here. These gauntlets right on his wrists. The boots are black metallic silver shoes, and you see some purple as well. He has a purple piece right here with a black lion cloth. There is a little bit of a yellowish green right on the front part of his chest. The chest also has the Decepticon logo in purple and light gray, and these bones clearly are a homage to Skeletor. Let's take a look at the back of the figure. Here is a look at that. You see the metallic silver armor, the purple as well. These holes here, this is where you can put the sword so you can store one accessory, which is something that Man-at-Arms could not do. And again, that was my only issue with that figure. But he comes with two, one on each side. Head sculpt looks great. Has the Megatron helmet there, Skeletor's face. The jaw is hinged, so you can open that as shown, open, close it. Actually, that's not really hinged, it's just more bendy. My apologies on that. The eyes are kind of like a red, which you see here. Turn it off to the side. Yep, that's definitely red. He has some purple, some black up on there, and a purple piece right along his chin there, which definitely looks great. These shoulder pads can lift up so they don't block the articulation in the arms, so you can still move these up, which is really good. Megatron Armor Skeletor has the same articulation as Man-at-Arms, so I don't see the need in going over that twice. Just know it's the same. He comes with 3 accessories. This is his cannon barrel, which pays tribute to Megatron's cannon in the Transformers Generation 1 cartoon. And you see the head there, which pays homage to Skeletor's Havoc staff, which is the design, including the horns, the shape of the mouth, the eyes, as well as the color. This weapon can attach to any of these 8 pieces on his gauntlets, so you can place it on any way you see here. I originally had it on the top, that's how that worked. Now I just put it on to the side. So there's your look at that. The cannon barrel can split apart, and you can put the cannon in the back end, and he can hold it in his hand. So here's a look at that. Here is another pose. And here is another pose. As I said, the sword can be stored on the side of his back, and here is a look at that. Here is a closer look at the sword, cast in purple plastic. On the bottom is the head of the Havoc staff, and you can see that by looking at the horns as well as the mouth and the head sculpt. Here is a closer look at that. In this pose, the head of the cannon barrel can be placed down. I forgot to show that previously, so just note that is an option. And here's a look at the mace accessory. There are several maces on the handle, and the head is also paying tribute to the staff. Here is another pose, and you'll be able to see more of the detail on the mace accessory here. This is made of soft plastic, so this part can move around. The sword is placed on his back, and you would see that over the right shoulder. He can also hold the mace in both hands, and here's a look at that. Here is a comparison with the Cartoon Collection Skeletor figure. Here is a look at the back of the figures. Overall, these are great looking figures. They're certainly wacky, and wacky definitely works for the Origins line. I think fans are going to love them. They certainly came out better than I thought, so I, for one, love what I'm seeing as far as the Masters of the Universe and Transformers crossover figures. This is something new, refreshing, that's never been done before, bringing these two big franchises together for the very first time. My recommendation would be to pick them up. And you can do so at Mattel Creations and Target stores in October 2025. Thank you to Mattel for sending these figures along for review. It's greatly appreciated. I am Anthony Scott. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for more news and reviews.